Hi everyone, we're going to go over the cybersecurity framework today. We're going to discuss the cybersecurity environment, risk management, development threats, and the legal and regulatory requirements, business objectives and organizational constraints, compliance and cybersecurity needs, organizational efforts and business needs, and the software assurance security model. Cybersecurity is constantly growing and changing with new threats and challenges. To effectively address these challenges, organizations employ various development processes, paradigms, information management practices, configuration management, and systems involved in the delivery of cybersecurity services. Our cybersecurity network has many moving parts, and the pieces specifically that we're going to discuss are development, paradigms, information management, configuration management, and systems involved in the service delivery. So the first two we're going to discuss are development processes and paradigms. For development processes, we're going to utilize Secure Development Lifecycle, or SDLC. Our organization follows a structured approach to developing any software and systems with security integrated at each phase of the development process to ensure, just like the castle method which we use, that there's multiple different layers of security throughout for extra protection. For paradigms, the first is zero trust. This paradigm assumes that no user or device is inherently trusted. In order to do this, it requires strong authentication, authorization, and continuous monitoring to enforce strict access controls. The second is defense in depth. This approach involves implementing multiple layers of security controls to protect against a various amount of attack vectors, which could make it harder for threats to breach the system. In all areas of our security, you will hear us talking further later on about multiple layers. Next is information management and configuration management. Some of the methods for information management we will be using are access control and data encryption. Access control is one of our largest security mechanisms. We will be using a role-based access control, so only authorized individuals can access the sensitive information. For our data encryption, our organization will categorize sensitive information based on the level of confidentiality and apply the required mechanism to protect that data, both at rest and in transit. For configuration management, we'll focus on our baselines and patch management. For our configuration baselines, we will establish a secure configuration for each of the different systems and then continuously monitor and manage any deviations to prevent any vulnerabilities. It's not a one-time thing. We will need constant monitoring to ensure that we can address anything that looks abnormal. Patch management, we will be doing regular patching as well as automated updates to ensure that we address any known vulnerabilities in our organization's software and systems. Lastly, for our cybersecurity environment, the systems involved in service delivery. These three systems are our primary methods, firewalls in both IDS and IPS. Each of these systems will monitor network traffic, identify suspicious activity, and alert our team and block against potential attacks in some cases. We're also using a security information and event management platform. This platform will be able to gather, analyze, and log data from various systems in order to identify security incidents, as well as provide real-time alerts and enable incident response. Lastly, endpoint protection. This protection, again, is going to use multi-layer. We'll use antivirus, anti-malware, and endpoint detection and response solutions to ensure that each device is secure and can detect malicious activities. Risk management. Our organization does have a standardized and in-depth risk management policy. We're just going to go over some of the main points of it here. We will conduct comprehensive risk assessments in order to identify potential threats, vulnerabilities, and their impacts on our systems and assets, with the intent of finding these before they cause damage. We will also be ensuring to use risk mitigation, which will include identifying the risks, implementing our controls and countermeasures, and we will also have a detailed plan laying out who will be completing what job duties in the event that these countermeasures need to be deployed. And lastly, risk management and response will be our last step. This is where we'll monitor the systems and respond in a timely manner. Our response time is going to be crucial in order to minimize the impact of security breaches and ensure a swift recovery. One of our main goals is always to get back up and running to business as usual as soon as possible. Development threats and legal regulatory requirements. With the world of cybersecurity constantly evolving, there are many different possible threats. The main threats that our organization could face are malware, ransomware, social engineering, and zero-day vulnerabilities. With any organization that has customer data, there are different regulatory standards that should be monitored. Although we don't have a legally required regulation, we do follow the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR standards, just to provide overall protection and ensure we're remaining compliant. We do also, because we are a online retail company, we also use PCI standards to ensure that we are being compliant with our customers' payment information and that it's secure. Our business and mission objectives are always to prioritize that our systems are operational as normal while still safeguarding our organization's information, any trade secrets, and intellectual property. We also want to ensure that we're meeting the regulatory requirements for our organization, our stakeholders, and our customers. Organizational constraints. Our organization's budget constraints could be focused so that the cybersecurity initiatives have enough funds to operate properly. Skills gaps are another area we plan to ensure that we are prioritizing to ensure our employees are receiving enough training to be prepared for any of these type of threats that could occur. We plan to implement training at multiple times throughout the term of the employment. We don't want training to be a one-time occurrence. So our compliance and cybersecurity needs, our organization will use a combination of both the NIST cybersecurity framework and the ISO and IEC 27001. The NIST framework focuses on the 5 core functions: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover, which is seen in our risk management and policy that we discussed earlier. The ISO 27001 provides a systematic approach to managing our sensitive company information, identifying risks, and also implementing the appropriate controls. So again, for our regulatory compliance standards, although the US doesn't have a set standard for our organization, we do utilize the payment card industry data security standards. This focuses on protecting payment cardholder data, and it requires that the implemented controls are in place for our network, our secure payment applications, access control, and we'll also ensure to be doing regular security testing. Our critical cybersecurity needs for our organization is going to be network segmentation, encryption, secure development practices, strong access controls, vulnerability management, and regular security assessments. Our organizational efforts and business needs. We will evaluate our organization's needs and the consequences for noncompliance and how it would affect the business. We will ensure that our compliance requirements are standardized by level of importance. We will focus on the most critical assets first and implement controls to protect them. Our desired outcomes are always to achieve compliance for our organization and establishing a strong security posture that goes beyond the requirements. We don't want to do the bare minimum for security. We always want to make sure that we're a step ahead. And our last topic is software assurance maturity model. Our software assurance maturity model will provide our organization with a map for development practices. This will help to ensure our data is secure, reliable, and the quality of the software is monitored. The 10 elements to our model are governance and management, risk management, requirements management, secure design and architecture, development processes, configuration management, testing and quality assurance, training and awareness, incident response and recovery, and lastly, measurement and improvement. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great night.